Hi, Jacques.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, this is Josh Runquist. How's it going?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Thank you for taking the time to do this interview.
No problem. Looking forward to it.
Well, awesome. Well, of course, we're here to talk about the brand new EP from Cultural Warfare, which is coming out tomorrow. And I gotta say, I am highly impressed with what I'm hearing so far.
Right on, man. I've done quite a few recordings in my career, and it's amazing the response we're getting, the happiness people are feeling when they're checking out our new music, man. It's really killer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are so many bands of this kind of style, but you guys have absolutely nailed everything that I love about thrash and metal.
That's good to hear, and we better, since we come from the place that it was spawned in America, besides the East Coast, the West, it was the Bay Area sound, and all of us grew up in it, doing it, and here we are, and with this unit of a band called Cultural Warfare, and it seems like, everything, when the stars aligned, man, everything just kind of hit the right spot, and it's the first time I've been in a band where even when we're done with the recording, and sure, you're always happy with what you create, but we were all looking at each other in amazement. We were like, this is pretty darn good, man.
Absolutely. I mean, all 5 tracks are just so amazing, from the production to your amazing vocals to the instrumentation. Just everything is just top notch here. And it's great to see from a second EP and your first appearance with the band in EP form.
Yeah, totally. Myself and the bassist, Pete Aguilar, it's our first appearance with the, and, like any band, they've been around since 2011. And we know, being in music, sometimes it takes 1, 2, 3, 4 years to kind of, get your feet wet and get the name established. And sometimes you lose a member and gain a member along that road and this journey we call music. And I've certainly been a part of that with some of my other outfits. And again, it just the pieces of the puzzle just seem to fit. And it's really a pleasure to be in this band, man. It really is.
So, how did you discover Cultural Warfare?
They had a reputation for a really good live performance, and I had heard of them, but I hadn't seen them. And then an old drummer friend who was in the band for a moment, I actually played with back in the 90s, and I heard he was in the band. I was like, wow, okay, let me go check my friend out. And when I saw them, I literally said to myself, for about a second, because I'm busy doing other stuff, I was like, I could be in that band. They're really good. And then I forgot about it, and a year later, they parted ways with their singer, and I remembered them, and I gave my old friend a call, and the rest is history.
Oh, I love it. It's amazing those connections that you make from the past can come up later in your life and lead to something great like that.
That's why in any business in this world, that cliche slogan of "don't burn your bridges," it's true in all formats of life and business, and it's definitely up front and center when it comes to music. The scene used to be all about competition, and it still has a good friendly competition, but when a band that's your neighbor in the scene starts doing well and making it, we all support each other. We all push each other, and we're happy that when a band does well.
Yeah, and that makes me so happy to hear, because with metal not being the most popular genre of music out there, we really got to stand together and get the music out there, because if we're not supporting ourselves, the fans aren't going to support it either.
That's the truth, and it's been like that forever. It was like that even before social media. The people that are old enough to remember the old days, I mean, it was done through zines and tape trading, through mail, and live performance. And today we're lucky enough to have social media that really gets your name out there a lot quicker. And if you put a song out, it better be good, because a lot of people are going to hear it right away. And luckily for many bands, including ourselves, we're really working hard and putting out some pretty good music where people are liking it, man.
Oh, absolutely. And just discovering you guys from getting this opportunity to do this interview with you, I was just blown away from what I've heard, because there's so many aspects that I really appreciate that you guys are hitting on with thrash, and in particular, your vocal style is just amazingly fit in this band. Is that how you approach the music, or did it take a while for you to discover how to approach Cultural Warfare vocally?
When I first heard it, I've always done pretty darn heavy stuff in my career. When I heard it, it was a little bit more faster on spots, but it was definitely music that I've listened to in my life with bands that I follow that I like. The list is long. You could name many bands. Nevermore, Overkill, whatever the band is. I've listened to it all, and I pretty much enjoy most formats of metal. And so when I heard Cultural Warfare, I heard a lot of aspects in the band that I really enjoyed. It was fast, aggressive, heavy, had some room for some melody on some spots, and I was like, yeah, that's all my cup of tea. And I think the band, Billy Garut, the guitar player, he said when I joined that it really opened up how he wanted to write, because he always felt kind of limited in the past with what he had, and so everyone's just enjoying each other's talents in the band, and we're all lucky enough to be capable musicians to pull it off, and then you got the four individuals that are just in a pocket right now, and we're just taking advantage of that feeling and that sound that we have right now.
Yeah, and you hit that aspect that really makes everything stand out to me, is the melody and harmonies that are in just the perfect spots in the songs. And I notice a lot of bands, especially nowadays, aren't really focusing on getting those great melodies and harmonies. They're focusing more on the technical aspects, or how fast they can play, or the down tuning. You guys are just writing brilliant songs that are not afraid to show off what you want to play.
Yeah, and that's all, and any band that's out there, when you're setting out and your writing process, you don't tell yourself, hey, I'm going to write this song this certain way and it's going to come out this way. It doesn't really work that way, at least for us. We write what we're enjoying, and you have enough schematics through it where you're like, yeah, I need to put a chorus here, or the bridge here, but it's a kind of an organic process, and we're just lucky enough that our songs are sounding the way that they are, but it is a combination of all four of us. All four of us are in that room, sweating and putting the pedal to the metal, and we're just lucky it came out the way it did.
How long did it take until you felt really comfortable with the band? I mean, like how many practices or weeks or whatever the case was until like you really felt like you were part of the band?
I still feel like that. I still feel like I'm trying, because I'm always trying to make things better. When I write my first line of lyrics and melodies with a song, I tell any band that I'm in, and I had to tell them, hey, you may like what I'm doing right now, but it's going to change and evolve, because the more we get close and the more it feels like it's just natural, I may try different things, and then I'm really receptive on what the guys say. Hey, that part's good, that part's not good, and we just kind of grow like that. And we do that with everyone else's instrument as well. Whether it's the bass, that bass line's cool, but maybe we can do something different there. And we're all very, we're all receptive to each other. So that's, I know for a fact every band doesn't have that. And so we're really blessed when it comes to that.
Is there any examples of that that's shown on the EP?
Mean vocally?
Or just anywhere in the band, like from the ideas of other members of the band, like changing a song for the better.
Yeah, I mean, I could do a long list of stuff like that, because writing a song, people don't realize 4, 5, 6 minute song. You listen to it and it takes 4, 5, 6 minutes, but it might have taken 6 months to put those 6 minutes into that recording with all the process that goes behind it. But real quickly, just in the studio, something as simple as my vocals doing the same melody, but then they're just saying, hey, they'll say it very easily, like, hey, try a Rob Halford voice there, try a Chuck Billy voice there, try a so-and-so voice there. And, I have a few different little techniques like that in my pocket, and I'll try it, and they're like, yeah, that's the one that worked. It's way better than what you were doing for the last 5 months. And, the producer, Juaner Tiaga, who we recorded with, he's really good at advising in the studio as well. And so things change even when you're in the studio. He's a really good producer.
Yeah, and that really says a lot for what you're capable of with your voice, too, because when I keep listening back to the EP, it's like I hear elements of Warrell Dane or Rob Halford or Chuck Billy, like you mentioned those last two examples. I mean, being able to have that full scale of range, so it's not limiting the rest of the band, really opens things up.
Yeah, and I've been doing this a long time. I'm definitely not the best singer in the world, but I have certain things that I can do, and I think as long as I've been doing it, I have. For someone, I think what every singers dream of is having your own style, and that's really hard with all the legends that have come and all the present bands that are tearing up the scene. Everyone's inspired by certain vocalists, and I obviously have been inspired by many vocalists in my career, and I mean, if it wasn't for Rob Halford, and I'm not the only one that's ever said it, I wouldn't be a singer, and that's where it started for me. But then, when I started going into thrash metal and I started listening to people like Russ from Forbidden, or I started listening to Zetra with Exodus, I try to emulate all those things. And luckily today, I think when I'm singing, I don't try to emulate any of that. It just comes out instinctually, in my voice.
Oh, very cool. And that's the great thing about being able to hit those ranges as well, too, is because it does come natural at this point rather than forcing it to sound like anything.
Yeah, and in fact, the high notes. There was a moment in my career where I actually stopped doing some of them on purpose because music was kind of changing, and I'm glad I stopped doing it for a moment because it made me. It was kind of my go-to, and then it made me focus on other physicalities with my voice, and so I learned how to do other things with it. And then when bands started saying, "Hey, I mean, bring that back. Just don't bring it back too much," and that's, I think right now with the high notes, I just kind of place them well instead of putting them all over the place, and so it's working out well for me now.
Yeah, and again, I can say that about every member of the band. You're all hitting those amazing moments at just the right times on this EP, and it's just fantastic to see nothing getting overused too much and relying on too much on a certain way. You guys are just hitting all the right cylinders.
I appreciate it, man. I hope we can keep doing that. And from this EP that drops on the 27th of tomorrow, actually, it's when it drops. The songs are everything that you're saying, but the band, we have another 3-4 songs that are brand new that we're working on right now, and we can hear it. We're like, wow. I mean, we can't wait for people to hear our full-length album, which is going to be out, in about 9, 10, 11 months. We're going to have a full album out as well.
Oh, very cool. I was just about to ask about that, too, because I know usually by the time that an EP or an album comes out, the band's already thinking about what they want to do next, and I'm glad to see that the songwriting's already this far along.
Yeah, it really is, and we were doing that anyways, and then when our label picked us up, which they picked us up really quickly after we released a song on YouTube, we got signed pretty quick, which is pretty rare in any day and age in the music business, let alone heavy metal. And but once you sign a contract and you're a part of that company, they become part of your band, and now we wanted to do it, and we were going to work on a new album, but now we have responsibilities, so we have to put an album out, but it's all good because we're prepared, we're ready, and we're working hard towards that, and we're pretty much already ahead of the game on that front.
Yeah, and that's great to hear. I mean, if you guys already sound this inspired with this EP that you guys have been working on, I imagine that the full length is just going to be completely inspired and probably will even blow this EP out of the way, and I already love it.
That's awesome. I think that any recording that anybody does as a musician, you always kind of hold your first, your second, your third. They're like your children, and you hold each album, each EP in a certain light. And certainly, you're always trying to outdo your predecessor. But heck, if you put out something so good that people are enjoying, then what better start than can you have? Moving forward to the next album. And we're not a band that's writing any kind of conceptual stuff. Hence like a King Diamond or something like that, but we do have through some of the themes of the music, there are a few songs that are gonna correlate in a way, and that the instrumental on the EP is kind of a fourth, it's a forthcoming of what's gonna come on the next album. It's kind of a predecessor to the album, so we are kind of linking our album, but not all the songs on the new album are gonna relate to the same subject matter, but it is a bridge, if you will, to the next album.
Oh yeah, and that's a great way that you're approaching it as well, because that instrumental at the end, it does feel like it's going to lead to something I'm sure it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe one day, far, far away, there'll be a deluxe set with everything included, You never know, but yeah, it's definitely, that's one thing we did set out to do with that instrumental, and obviously Billy, the guitar player, had the most to do with that. But the title, is leading into the next album, like I said, and you do get that feeling when you listen to it, like, whoa, is there another song? Is there another song? And yes, there's going to be a lot more songs.
Awesome. Well, of course, Cultural Warfare had the representation, or the rep of being an amazing live band, and now that you're a part of the band, how is the reaction with the live shows?
Well, believe it or not, our live shows are all being lined up right now. The bassist, Pete Aguilar, and myself, we haven't played live with Cultural Warfare as of yet, but we have many dates that are all lining up. The first one just got announced today. We're actually going to be playing February 24th with a band called Hatriot. I'm sure a lot of people out there know of a band called Hatriot.
Oh, yes.
So we're doing that, and a band called Angerhead with some of our Bay Area stablemates, and that just got all solidified today. So that's going to be our first show. It's going to be a CD release show, and we already have about 4 other shows that are going to follow that in March, and some of those shows are going to hit Southern California and Northern California as well.
Awesome. And I just love being able to hear that. I mean, the first EP with this full lineup of Cultural Warfare, already getting signed, already getting to play all these great shows, and all the great reviews that are coming out about you guys. I mean, you guys absolutely deserve everything that's going on right now.
Deserve, maybe, but, speaking personally for myself, I know how hard I've worked at this career, and I've had some minor successes here and there in my long career, but to see it happening at a more rapid pace with Cultural Warfare, it's, what more could you ask for? It's what everybody hopes for and dreams for, and right now it's happening to us, and I promise everybody out there, we are not going to disappoint. We are making sure we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's to the most that we can be. I mean, it's when I get off the phone with you, I'm going to work on some memorization techniques, and we're just getting ready to really start kicking some ass.
And I think that's an absolutely perfect note to end on for this interview. Thank you so very much for taking the time to talk to me about the brand new EP from Cultural Warfare, Future Kill, which comes out tomorrow. And of course, I hope everybody goes out and checks you guys out on social media. And if they're on the West Coast, being able to see those shows that are going to be coming up and in the future. And of course, that full length, which would be probably hitting at the end of the year, maybe 2018, depending on how things go. But before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to mention that I haven't brought up yet?
Well, just anything that people can listen to our music. They can find out anything about us. Just go to to our website, www.culturalwarfare.com. Nice and simple. And that website will take you to all social media sites. It'll take you to our label, our store, where we have shirts, CDs. Like every band out there, we need people to support, to help us get to further destinations and create more warheads all over the United States and abroad. So go to that website, and as I always say, thanks to people like you, Josh, because you're part of us too. It's the bands, it's the fans, it's the media, the radio, it's all of that. So I know that I can speak for the band that we thank you, and we thank all the fans, and hey, we hope to see everybody soon and shake hands and have a beer with you, man.